Welcome back, everybody, to Freshly Squeezed Sports. Again, it's me, Pratik, over here, and I got my buddy Christian, and
What's
I'm
up?
glad to have you guys back, man, for the second official podcast. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's again jump right into it. We had two big games this week. One certainly bigger than the other. We played Miami on was it Monday or
The fourth Monday? Yeah.
Tuesday Monday night, and then we played Orlando yesterday, Wednesday.
Yep.
So let's jump into that, man. I think some of the biggest takeaways I'd go with. Let's jump into the play of Fred Van Vliet. Frederico, he dropped a career high 36 points against the Heat on Monday night.
Oh,
That was insane, man. What do you think about his
that is good.
performance?
Honestly, man, like I have no Van Vliet. We already talked about this last segment and how I said that he's only second to Lowry in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
hey, man, this guy he should be filling those shoes, man. I'm not surprised. It's just really nice to see him doing that. Like, there's nothing else I really have to say. Like
Well,
Van
I
Vliet, bro. Uh, the whole thing for me is like it's more so the types of plays that he's running. Uh, that is what I'm really impressed by, bro. The ISO plays, which obviously he's already a facilitator, but man, this guy's running the paint like it's yeah,
I was about
unbelievable.
to say the diversity of his attack.
Yeah.
On Monday, he was bombing it from three. He was
Hmm.
absolutely automatic, and he can kind of do it from anywhere. Like you see him taking it to the paint against Orlando last night. He dropped 21 points. 21. It was a game high for the Raptors, and
Exactly.
almost all of his paints. He wasn't shooting it well from three, and he wasn't settling at all. You saw him straight from the first quarter, just
Yep.
consistently taking it to the paint, putting it over big men, driving past. I don't know if you saw a clip made at the Bleacher Report. Him blowing by Fultz with a sick hezzy move.
Oh
But
man.
he's kind of got it all in his bag right now, and
Yeah.
he's playing some elite basketball. Him and Lowry just out there, like it's so fun to watch our guard play.
Hmm.
But other than that, man, like from our bigs, I really liked what I saw from our bigs last night against
Marcus
Orlando.
All. Yeah.
Marcus Gasol, he came out hungrier than I've seen him in a while. He was. It
Oh.
seemed like they made it. I don't know if they do this and Nick Nurse comes up with it, but it seemed like they made it a point to get it to Gasol early. Uh, he was aggressive with his shot and them getting him the ball, and he gassed out Vucevic early on defense. And the announcers were bringing it
Hmm.
up. They were saying, "Look at how Vucevic already looks frustrated in the first quarter. Like it
Yeah.
seems like he was shut down, and that's the effect he gives us." And so when you combine that with the when he's playing aggressive on the offensive end, he's better than any big man in the league, I think.
I agree, man. And just to add to that whole point, let's let's even if we just talk about our playoff run last year, right? Marcus Gasol's like integral role in positioning, bro. The only reason Nick Nurse, not the only reason, but the reason Nick Nurse has such amazing rotations is because of the way he uses Marcus Gasol. And I feel like that's something we need to talk about more too. Is give Nick Nurse his appreciation because that guy is top notch, man. Like
Well, how
and
so in his rotations, like
in
spreading
his
the floor,
rotation,
like the
spreading the
way they
floor.
use Mark? Yeah.
Right. But the only reason that's possible is because of somebody like Mark. So, and now that he's playing on the offensive end like he used to play on the Grizzlies, it's a different situation. All our
Yeah.
players all our players do have offensive power, They're just Nick Nurse is really smart with putting everybody in their particular roles when they need to be. And I guess at this point like maybe putting Mark on those starting offensive plays like it shuts down bigs quick. So we already saw that with AD, seeing it with Vucevic. I'm gonna see it going forward, man.
Well, at the earliest, we need him, or it's not the earliest, but at least we need Mark just attempting threes. Like, I don't even care if it really goes in at this point. Just
Exactly.
the threat of him on the perimeter. Like, you kind of saw him last year in playoffs, kind of. There was a period there against Milwaukee when he was hesitant because he wasn't
Yeah.
making a lot of them. And at that point, they know you're not going to take the shot is when you're the least dangerous, right?
Hmm.
And so when you keep shooting and the threat of it going in, like every time he was open, I was yelling at him to shoot it. I felt like, and he finally found his shot again back in the Golden State series.
Exactly.
But we just need him to keep shooting it. Like, it doesn't matter if you're open. Like, that's a good shot for anyone on this roster. That
Yeah.
includes one down all the way through our bench. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have one bad shooter on our team. Like, I'm confident everyone can make a shot, right?
Everyone
Except for
can.
Serge has been struggling the last couple. He's
Okay.
but we talked about this a little bit too. He
Yeah.
really found he looked frustrated last night at the he had a really tough first half and came out in the fourth looking frustrated but hungry. I remember seeing him that one foul he had trying to block. Was it Fultz coming down on a breakaway or something like that? And he gave a hard foul on a block attempt, but he looked pissed off, and I think that's kind of how he plays best. And when
He does. He does.
Yeah,
He seems
when he's
like
got
such
that
a nice
aggression.
guy, but yeah, man, Serge Ibaka gets heated up, and like one thing is with with Ibaka, right? That whole veteran mentality I talked about with like the way the Raptors are and how they recover from having bad spouts in their plays, right? They'll go from obviously Serge Ibaka having first few cold quarters, he's
Mhm.
frustrated, but he picked it up in the fourth, which usually doesn't happen with most players. That's
Yeah.
if you haven't picked it up by then you're probably not going to get more minutes, you know? Then the
I think
coaches
that's just the
aren't giving
team
you
environment, right? Like, I think they do a good job of, but it's team chemistry, but at the same time, so they're all helping each other. But I really think if you're not playing well, they know they're not going to see minutes. If you're not playing hard, and that's the one thing Nick Nurse stresses a lot, is that you have to play hard if you're going to get minutes, and it's
Yeah.
intensity he likes to see. That was something at the start of the year when we were trying to figure out who's going to be our eighth man. They were trying to figure
Yeah.
it out between Terrence Davis, whether it was going to be Patrick
Terrence
McCaw,
Davis,
who's going to be that deep guy from at Stanley Johnson, sorry, Matt Thomas. Like, who's that eight man is? Nick Nurse was calling them all out at practice, saying like, we need someone to step up. We don't have an eighth man right now. No one's
Yeah.
playing hard,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's kind of that position's always there for the taking, and then just an emphasis on playing hard for them. But one man I really want to jump into, and I want your opinion on,
Okay.
is
Go for it.
OG Anunoby,
Uh-huh.
because
The
he's
big
been
sleeping star, man. I think
yeah.
that's what I'm gonna call him.
So let's hear about what's your take on OG. How do you think
So-
he's been playing these last couple of games? Yeah.
I think, I mean, OG, like, his efficiency is ridiculous. Like, I think he can obviously play more minutes. He is getting a lot more minutes than usual. I agree, he's playing like solid 30 plus minutes a game. But I think his efficiency is what I see is like the craziest thing about him. He's bringing the whole on-ball movement. His shots are clear. Like, I think that Siakam should be having the same level of execution right now. He has done it, but OG is like filling in the bubble, I think, for Pascal right now. Pascal should be doing better, man. Like,
Well, Pascal should be stepping up against bigger teams. I think right now he's kind of using these games as a confidence finder
right?
and kind of getting back into the flow of things, just in terms of finding his shot. That's Pascal, but OG, just in terms of how he's come back from the bubble, like he's been against the Lakers. He absolutely shut down LeBron. He dropped, I forget how much he dropped, but I think he was 8 for 9 from the field in that first game against the Lakers. His ball handling, he's making way better decisions, and he's a guy that looks way more confident. I remember, like, all throughout the season, it's kind of frustrating. I've been frustrated with OG since he's had his breakout rookie season.
Yeah.
He was one of the better rookies in the league and defensively, but I've never thought he put it together offensively. Everyone saw a lot of potential, and to be honest, I was kind of doubting him. Just really doesn't make a lot of good decisions, especially this season. Like, figured this could be his breakout year, and he looked tentative a lot of the times. He looks like he's forcing it whenever he takes it to the paint. He doesn't know what he's going to do. He either or he commits to going up with the ball, and it's just it seemed like it was never working out on the offensive end for him. And now to see him coming back, it looks like he's put some time together on his ball handling, his playmaking. He's passing better.
Yeah.
he's just looking like a lot more complete. I don't know what it is. Like it just seems like with certain players, sometimes it just clicks in your head. Like
Hmm.
it just the game slows down a bit once you take that
Yeah.
extra step, and it seems like OG's hit that since he's been back in Orlando, and I hope it stays because we need that. We need that
I
from him.
What you're saying is nail on the head, bro. Because it's so true in the sense that again, I'm gonna bring back Nick Nurse's whole coaching mentality, right?
Yeah.
And we knew that obviously OG was away for most of the championship run last year, which I
Hmm.
think would have helped him stop making those kind of stupid mistakes that he kept making at least earlier on in the season,
That's
and now
true. Yeah.
he's picked up that slack. But I think, man, like Nick Nurse has figured out a way to coach every one of his players in their best way possible.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? He puts them in
Yeah.
the exact right bubble or scenario for them to learn the skill that they find to be hardest. Like right
Yeah.
now, I don't think Nurse has any. Uh, what am I trying to say? I need to put in the right words.
Yeah.
Um, what I mean to say is, Nurse is already confident in what his other players are doing, right? He doesn't really need to worry about teaching them new things. They just need to polish up and make sure they stay on that championship level, right? Everybody knows what they're doing. So I think it gives the other players and also Nurse a chance to groom guys like this, like putting OG in serious pressure situations. They can create room for that. Like now they're in that position. And so that's
I,
why we just saw a trend, man, over the last how many years. We've kept so many of our rookies and they've turned into
yeah.
some pretty serious beasts. So
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, and that's part of our culture, right? We
yeah.
groom that culture, that hardworking. It's never being complacent, and that's what we see this year with Kawhi's gone. Well, who
Hmm.
cares? We're still one of the best teams in the East. They went out and showed that all season.
Right?
Now they're showing it in the bubble. They're hungry for another championship. They believe they can go back to back, and
Hmm.
it's who cares? We lost Kawhi Leonard, right? Like we're still the same guys we were. We have the rest of our team, and that's the mentality that they're putting in these young guys. And I think it's why teams like you see these teams that are rebuilding. Like, what is
Yeah.
a rebuild? Like,
What is a
there's
rebuild?
teams that
Yeah.
have been rebuilding for 30 years, like the Knicks.
Yeah.
Like the thought of just looking at these players as assets and that's how you're going to win isn't
Hmm.
the right mentality. You need to establish a winning culture
A winning
because
culture, yeah.
what at the end of the day, if you're a player, like we're all people, like are you going to how's your mentality going to be when you show up to play for an organization like the Knicks, almost expecting to lose every night, versus an organization like the Raptors, even before DeRozan turned into an all-star.
Yeah.
Like there's that culture of we're going to go out there and play hard every night when Masai got there, right?
Hmm.
That's how we slowly built that up. It was giving guys confidence through go out there and play hard every single night. And it's what the Spurs are doing. That's exactly why the Spurs have been great for so long, right?
Fundamental basketball, man.
So let's get into the Celtics. Let's start talking the Celtics
Yeah,
here. We got
let's
a
start talking about
matchup
Celtics, man.
coming up tomorrow, Friday. And what do you think, man? We're coming up into Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown. What do you think of that matchup?
Ooh. Yeah, I think the Celtics are again an underrated team just like us, man. That's how I genuinely feel about the Celtics. And I feel that way because they have the same culture as we do. They're building up the same stars they've had for a long time. Their
Mm-hmm.
coaching is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Stevens does an incredible job, man. Like that guy has been known for years to just run an incredible franchise. He's had multiple championship teams. Like I
Yeah,
think,
I agree.
yeah,
I almost looked at them as like our. It's kind of weird to say. They're kind of like just a step behind us, but on the same route. And
hmm,
that's kind of how I've seen them.
yeah, that's how I see
Um,
them too.
I've always like for the last at least 5 years, like I think we've put together a better team than them. We've never really ran into them in the playoffs, so we never actually got to test that theory. I'm
Yeah,
sure some Boston fans would disagree. I'm sure they would argue that they
yeah,
fielded some
I
better
know a
teams than
few.
us.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, but I think they're well. This is gonna be a we're gonna find out this year. I think right, second and third seed. We're gonna be seeing them in the second round. They got to make it past likely Philly is what it looks
hmm,
like. We're gonna have to make it past the easier Orlando or Brooklyn Magic, and we're gonna be seeing the
I have
Celtics in
an
the second round.
extremely hot take.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think Tatum.
Hot
I think
take alert.
Yeah, hot take. No, real shit, man. I think Tatum and Jalen Brown are better than Embiid and Simmons right now. I think that in it is a hot take, bro. I'm just saying in a playoff situation, I actually think those two boys are gonna seal the deal on Embiid and Simmons.
I think I agree. I agree than that. I think Embiid is probably the most overrated superstar in the
I
game of
hate him.
basketball.
I hate him,
Everyone
bro.
says he's the best big man in the league, and I think that's an absolute load of crap.
Well, he has the potential to be, but he's clearly not.
He
Like,
is not the best big man in the league. I don't think he's ever been here's what they say. Listen to this. Here's what they say, and it gets me every single time. Embiid is the best big man in the league when he wants to be.
he wants to be.
When he wants to be. What do
Yeah.
you mean when he wants to be? You're saying he doesn't go out there every night and want to be the best player in the league, the best center in the league? If he wanted to be the best player in the league every night, why doesn't he go and do it? Oh, his motivation's not there. That's crap. He gets shut down a lot of the times. You see
Yeah.
that these people, guys like Gasol, they can shut him down. Like it's put a big body in front of him. He turns into a 3-point shooter, and he's not a 3-point shooter. He's ineffective. He turns into average. He could have a good 3-point shooting night. That is the worst take I've ever heard, and you hear it from every single sports pundit. It is a
Sports
load of
pundits,
crap.
yeah.
It is a load of crap. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So,
Okay, so I
sorry,
feel like
I had
it
to
wasn't
rattle off of that. I know it's
that's
not what
all
we're talking
good.
about. Tatum and Brown are legit. I was watching them play the other night.
Very legit.
I haven't
Very
watched
legit.
them too much this season, but I was watching them the other night, and Tatum looks. The, here's the
He's a
thing:
cold motherfucker.
they attack the rim hard, kind of like Fred. They get to the rim quick, and that's kind of what I'm worried about. But the thing I noticed is they don't like passing out, or maybe it was just this one game, but they don't. They never were looking for the pass out to open shooters. When they committed to driving, they always drove. That's what I noticed from Taylor and Brown, and so that's something I feel like we could expose. I don't think they have as good perimeter shooters as we do.
Right, and that's exactly what I wanted to add on, right? You know how you were saying they're a few steps behind us? They
Yeah.
remind me of our play style a few years ago
Uh
because they
huh.
still heavily rely on the ISO that Tatum and Brown can bring, right?
That's a great point. Yeah, I
So,
agree. I
but
agree.
that's okay because foundationally they're going to build as players, and when the time comes, they will get the opportunity to get perimeter shooters. Like, I'm not too
Yeah.
worried, man. Celtics are on their way to building a solid championship team. Like,
I like that squad, and if it wasn't for me being a Raptors fan, I would say hats off to them. I'd be rooting for them, but we're gonna see them in the second round, and we're gonna put them away.
exactly.
So
Bro, here's one thing I just want to emphasize about the Eastern Conference that I think the Western Conference really lacks, and it's consistency.
uh,
Like the
yeah,
Western Conference, every year we see teams just shoot up and down like snakes and ladders. It's not even a joke. But the East,
that's because they're all good and they're
solid
all so
top five.
close. Yeah.
Like
I,
no, I'm saying the East is a solid top five. The West,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Golden State went from being number one to zero this
Well,
year. I know
well, that's
injuries
the
played them. I know it's not
injuries,
fair.
KD leaving,
KD leaving,
but
yeah.
the reason is like they're all so good and so close in the games. Like in the East, we have top six right now. It's six,
I
which
feel it. Okay.
is Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, Miami, Indiana, Philly. Then it significantly drops off. Brooklyn,
Mm.
Orlando, the rest. Brooklyn's going to be a beast next year, but the rest, absolute, no, not contenders, not even close. In the West, I feel like you got contenders all the way through 13. I think everyone in the bubble in the West, maybe not Sacramento, maybe not New Orleans. I don't think New Orleans is as good with Zion, but they're fun to watch. Maybe, but those teams like Portland, for example, who's still trying to make a play for playoffs. Phoenix 4-0 in the bubble, trying to make a play for playoffs.
Mm.
They're all so good there. They're all within a couple games of each other. If you lose 2 games in a row, you could drop from third to eighth or out of playoff contention. It seems like that's how it varies
Yeah.
all
Okay.
season. Yeah.
But every team in the West also, arguably, almost has every team in the West almost has a superstar. Like I said that so weirdly.
They
Every
do.
team
There's
in
a
the
lot
West
of stars in the West, I
has,
feel, as well.
yeah,
I
exactly.
agree with that.
So
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in for another Freshly Squeezed pod. Give us a like, comment, subscribe for more videos. We're going to be coming out with a lot more content for NBA, the rest of the bubble season and playoffs. And make sure to follow us on Freshly Squeezed Sports on our Instagram handle. Talk to you all later.